She sat at the center of a crowded dinner party. The air was thick with the sound of a dozen different conversations, overlapping like waves. To anyone watching, she looked perfectly engaged. She smiled in the right places, nodded at the right stories, and played her part well. But beneath the surface, there was a quiet, heavy exhaustion. It wasn't that she didn't like these people. It was that the effort of maintaining so many connections felt like a weight. She had reached a point of social saturation, a place where more faces didn't mean more connection. It just meant more noise. She found herself wondering, when did friendship become a performance? And why did she feel more alone here than when she was actually by herself? The answer wasn't about becoming antisocial. It was about a deeper understanding that was just beginning to surface. But there's a surprising reason this becomes more important with age, and this is where fewer friends can actually create more freedom. The next morning was different. The noise of the previous night had vanished, replaced by the soft golden light of a new day. She sat with one close friend. No crowd, no performance, just a quiet space and a connection that required no effort. She laughed, a sound that was natural, unforced, and deeply felt. In this moment, the exhaustion of the night before was gone. She had fewer friends than she did 20 years ago. Her social circle had shrunk significantly, and somehow she was happier. It raises a question many of us fear to ask. Can having fewer relationships actually improve our emotional well-being? The answer isn't about becoming antisocial or withdrawing from the world. It's about understanding what your mind actually needs from other people. But to understand this shift, we first have to look at why our social networks naturally change as we age. Join us in the next part. Think back to the beginning. Our early social lives are often defined by sheer volume. In school, our friends were chosen by proximity, those who shared our classrooms, our neighborhoods, and our teams. Then came college, a sudden explosion of new faces. We were eager to expand our horizons, collecting acquaintances like badges of adulthood. Our networks were large, chaotic, and fluid. Every invitation was an opportunity, and every new face a potential lifelong friend. But these networks are naturally transitionary, built for a phase of life focused on exploration and identity formation. The first shifts happen subtly. A new job, the beginning of a serious relationship. The circle starts to ripple. At first, it feels like we're losing something. But this social pruning is a necessary part of our growth. Because as we transition into career and family, our needs begin to change. Stay with us for part 4. As we enter our middle years, the focus often shifts to the world of work. Career ambition and the drive for stability begin to occupy our mental and physical space. The friends of our youth are often replaced by professional acquaintances. We build networks based on shared goals and mutual benefit rather than simple proximity or shared history. Then comes parenthood, a profound shift that narrows our world down to the needs of a single room. Our time becomes a precious, shared commodity. The squeeze is real. Between the demands of a career and the needs of a growing family, there is often little energy left for social maintenance. Calls go unreturned, invitations are declined, and those large, chaotic networks of our 20s begin to naturally thin out. This isn't failure, it's a reallocation of energy. We start to realize that we can't be everything to everyone. We begin to focus our lens on the people and responsibilities that truly matter most. But as the years pass, this narrowing circle sets the stage for a new kind of social evolution. Stay with us for part 5, as we look at retirement and the neighborhood. As the high-pressure years of career and intense parenting begin to recede, a new rhythm emerges. The world starts to slow down. We begin to notice the world right outside our front door, the people and places we were often too busy to truly see before. Proximity becomes a gift again. The simple, unplanned conversations over a fence or on a sidewalk provide a renewed sense of belonging. We rediscover local community groups, clubs, volunteers, and shared hobbies that bring us together with those who live near us. Our social life becomes walkable. The convenience of a nearby friend becomes more valuable than the prestige of a distant network. This rediscovered proximity isn't about the quantity of friends. It's about the ease and comfort of being known in our own space. But as these local ties strengthen, a deeper psychological shift is also taking place. Join us in part 6 as we explore the psychology of time. As we move through the later chapters of life, a subtle but powerful shift occurs in our psychology. We become more aware that our time is a finite resource. This awareness changes our internal compass. Our goals move from expanding our world to deepening the one we already have. We stop prioritizing social status and the accumulation of new, often shallow contacts. Instead, we focus on emotional satisfaction and the quality of our present moments. We no longer feel the need to impress the crowd. We only need to connect with the heart. This is why a smaller circle doesn't feel like a loss. It feels like a long-awaited refinement. But what happens when some friendships become exhausting? Join us in part 7. We've all felt it, that sudden vibration in our pocket or the light of a screen that brings a subtle sense of dread rather than excitement. As we get older, we become more sensitive to where our emotional energy goes. We realize that not every connection is a source of nourishment. Some are a drain. Constant conflict, a lack of reciprocity, or the feeling that you are always giving and never receiving. These are the hallmarks of a friendship that has become taxing. Healthy boundaries aren't about being cold or unkind. They are about protecting your peace. They are a statement of what your mind needs to stay healthy. You can care about someone deeply without giving them unlimited access to your emotional energy. You have the right to choose who enters your inner circle. There is a profound freedom in learning to say no to connections that no longer serve your well-being. It is an act of self-respect. But how do we decide who is truly worth keeping close? Join us in part 8 as we perform the friendship audit. To move toward a more satisfied life, it's worth performing a simple friendship audit. Ask yourself 5 fundamental questions. First, who makes me feel more like myself? Who allows me to put down the performance and just be? Second, who can I be truly honest with? With whom can I share my fears as easily as my successes? Third, who do I genuinely enjoy helping? Friendship is reciprocal, but the act of giving should feel like a choice, not a chore. Fourth, who respects the boundaries I set for my own peace? Who understands that my no is not a rejection of them? And finally, the deepest question, who would I genuinely miss if they disappeared from my life tomorrow? The answers to these questions show you where to invest your heart. Focus on the relationships that are reciprocal and meaningful, because a smaller circle can be a much richer one. Stay with us for part 9 as we explore the beauty of chosen solitude. Solitude is often misunderstood. It is not a void that needs to be filled, but a space that can be inhabited with peace and intention. The difference lies in choice. Chosen solitude is restorative. It is a time to reconnect with your own thoughts and feelings. Loneliness, however, is a different experience. It is a hunger, the painful awareness of a missing connection that you didn't choose to lose. A person can be entirely alone and feel perfectly complete. In these moments, solitude becomes a sanctuary for the mind to find its balance. But we can also be surrounded by 100 people and feel a profound, aching loneliness. Presence, as we've learned, does not equal connection. Developing a genuine friendship with yourself is one of the greatest emotional strengths of aging. It frees you from the pressure of the crowd. When you value your own company, you become far more selective about who you invite into your inner circle. Stay with us for part 10. A meaningful social life doesn't have to be large enough to impress anyone. It only needs to be large enough to support you. Imagine a circle of just 3 friends. They meet every Thursday at the same time in the same place. This consistency is the foundation of their connection. It is a ritual of presence. In this circle, your stories are known. You don't have to explain the context of your life because they have lived through it with you. In a small circle, people notice when you're missing. Your presence is not just a statistic, it is essential to the group's balance. There is a profound comfort in being seen for who you truly are, without the need for filters or social performance. Quality over quantity. Your social life only needs to be meaningful enough to matter to you. A few people who know your heart are worth more than 1,000 who only know your name. But what do we do with all the social space we've created? Join us in part 11 as we explore what becomes possible. What becomes possible when we stop chasing unnecessary social approval? When the noise of the crowd finally fades, we find more time for the things that truly nourish our souls. More time for creativity, for the projects we always put off. More time for nature, for the simple, grounding act of tending to a garden and watching something grow. More time for volunteering and mentoring, sharing the wisdom we've gathered with the next generation. and more time for family, for the deep, unconditional connections that provide the ultimate emotional security. We find space to invest even more deeply in those few friendships that have stood the test of time. Quality over quantity. Because in this new space, we discover who we really are. Join us in the final parts as we return to our beginning. We return to where we began. But this time the crowd is gone, the phones are put away, and the exhaustion has been replaced by peace. Growing older doesn't always mean losing people. It's a natural refining process of the soul. Sometimes it means finally discovering which people were truly worth keeping close all along. You don't need 100 people who simply know your name. That's a hollow kind of popularity. You need a few people who truly know your heart, people who understand your silence as much as your words. Because in the end, living better isn't about how much we have, but who we share it with. This is golden wisdom. Growing older, living better. Because the most important relationships are not those that fill the room, but those that fill the heart. Stay tuned for part 13. Growing older is not just a process of physical change, it is a natural refining process of the soul. We learn to let go of the need to be liked by everyone. We release the pressure of social performance. In this space of release, we finally discover which people were truly worth keeping close all along, the ones who have stood the test of time. We realize that a single deep connection is worth more than 1,000 surface-level interactions. We trade width for depth. There is a profound ease in being with someone who knows your history and understands your silence. You can finally just be. This is the gift of a refined social circle. It is a sanctuary for the heart, a place where you are truly at home. Because when you stop looking for more, you finally find enough. Join us in part 14 as we explore knowing the heart. You don't need 100 people who simply know your name. That is a hollow kind of popularity that rarely reaches the soul. You need a few people who truly know your heart. People who understand your silence just as deeply as they understand your words. In these relationships, you no longer have to explain yourself. There is a baseline of trust that goes beyond words. Wide social circles often require a mask, a version of yourself that is safe for public consumption. But deep understanding requires the mask to fall. True belonging doesn't come from being liked by many. It comes from being truly known by a few. It is the difference between a room full of noise and a heart full of peace. Once you discover which people were truly worth keeping close, the world feels complete. Join us in our final part as we bring this journey to an end. Growing older, living better. Part 15 is next. We return once more to this quiet corner of the world. The sun is lower now, the air cooler, and the silence. The silence is comfortable. Growing older doesn't always mean losing people. Sometimes it means discovering which people were truly worth keeping close all along. It's a transition from the noise of the many to the harmony of the few. A shift from performing for a crowd to simply existing with a heart that understands yours. You don't need 100 people who know your name. That's just social momentum. It's often wide, but rarely deep. You need a few people who truly know your heart, people who can hear what you're not saying, people who are your home. This is the real secret to a satisfied life. It's not about how wide your circle is, but how deep it goes. Thank you for joining us on this journey. This is Golden Wisdom, growing older, living better.